Thanks everyone for joining the stock group. Today is January 8th, 2022. Happy New Year to everybody. So let's just jump on in. You know what? But before we do, let me go out here I want to show y'all this. I've gone over this before, but this is Trade Champs. It's a fantasy stock trading. So basically just think of a contest for stocks and crypto. So go out here to tradechamps.io and click on, and here's just an overview of how to play. So like every day you can play on it. You have to enter by 9:15 in the morning. Contest runs from 9:30 to 4 every day. Monday through Friday, you can play stocks and crypto. Saturdays and Sundays, you can just play crypto. You get a $100,000 virtual account, and you can divide it amongst however many stocks or crypto, depending upon which day it is that you want. You pick it, you enter into the contest, and based upon your portfolio, at the end of the day, whoever has the highest portfolio amount wins. And so doing cash prizes right now. So give it a look, tradechamps.io. So quick blurb on that. All right, let's get back to stocks. So start off by, let's look at the Dow. Let's see what the Dow's been doing. So I know we really haven't had I think our last meeting was, I don't know, maybe the third week of December or so. So let's go back, say around the 15th. So on the Dow, you can see here, this is a daily chart. So, and down at the bottom here, you can see my cursor. This is December 15th. And then each bar, I'm on a daily chart here with the D here stands for 1 day. Each candlestick represents a day. So green candlesticks are up, red candlesticks are down for that day. So you can see here, we were actually had a drop for the 3 days from December 16th to the 20th. Then in the Dow, we had a nice little rally here about 5 days in a row. Then we went sideways a couple days, up again. And then this week, particularly up Monday and Tuesday, excuse me, and down Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's the Dow. All right, let's look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ, different story, going back to around the 17th. 5 days up, 3 days kind of sideways, and then big 4 days down. So this has been going down. So you can see here we're at a support level at this 1448. Let's look at the Russell. So the Dow is the industrial stocks, 30 industrial stocks. NASDAQ is more tech related stocks. Russell are small caps meaning smaller company stocks, anywhere from 300 million to 2 billion in size. So here on the small caps, we can go back again. December 17th, kind of was in a huge downtrend, bounced, got a few days up, went sideways, and then basically all of that, more of what we gained in the last 7 or 8 days this week, the majority of it's been down again. So Russell's just been getting killed as well. And so if you're in some small cap stocks, probably taking a beating. All right, here's S&P 500. And S&P 500 represents the 500 largest stocks or companies, largest companies in America. So you can see here that going back to around the 17th, you had a 3-day drop, up 4 days, then we went sideways for about a week. And then we got this week just been a resumption to the downside. So So you can see in really for the beginning of the year, everything is down from where it started, where it ended last year. So this is just kind of brutal. So your portfolios are probably taking a hit, and particularly depending upon what's the nature of the stocks that you hold. So any questions on that before we go into some of the individual names? Okay. Cool. So let's look at Apple. Apple is actually a kind of a standout a bit. You can see here back from November, Apple's been on a run from 147 up to a high of like 182. And you can see here kind of pulled back this week. And except for Monday, well, I guess Tuesday, actually, yeah. Well, Monday. I guess the market was open Monday. Yeah, Monday was an up day. Rest of the days were down on Apple. Let's look at Autodesk. Autodesk is a software CAD provider. So they've coming off some extreme highs and hit the support level at 250. Kind of went sideways through the month of December to up, and then for the end of the month, just sideways. Then this year, based upon the market, it's just been down pretty much these 4 days for the week. So actually now here's a standout. Aegon, this is a financial services company. They're doing actually doing pretty good. Hey, Brand. And so they're kind of going up to sideways. And I'm gonna come back to this theme here with these financial services stocks. Let's look at a couple other ones. So here, this is Mike, I know you're new. This is a TradingView. So TradingView is an application. You go out here and create a free account. TradingView allows us to, have a watch list. You can look at your stock performance based on the chart. So definitely say go out here and set up an account. And I'll send you a link, Mike, to tell you how to get this set up on your computer. So let's look at Bank of America, and you can just type, if you're on a chart, you can just type a symbol and it'll bring it up for you. So Bank of America, New York Stock Exchange. I want to look at it.
What's up?
Hey, how are you? Who is that? Who got an iPhone number here? I'm trying to see who this is. Okay. All right. So here on Bank of America, you can see here that been kind of going sideways since November. Sideways are down. December is kind of sideways, but January, basically these first 5 trading days of the year, stock is up. So looks like it's a theme. So one of the things that's happening now is that the Fed has come out and said that they were going to raise interest rates. And I know the market is kind of spooked about that because when interest rates goes up, a couple things, happen. Number one, there's a fear of inflation. You've been to the grocery store or gas station, you can tell that prices are a bit higher. Well, one a bit higher, particularly food. Grocery stores, the food has been much higher. If you go to any fast food restaurant or whatever, drive through, these value meals are $8, $9, $10. So definitely inflation. And so as a result of that, for companies that are that make money in inflationary environments, they do well. So banks do well. Hence, looking at Bank of America, let's look at Citigroup. You can see Citigroup, it's up since December 17th. Let's see, JP Morgan. And so you can see here since the 20th of December, all of these stocks are actually going up. So there's a rotation out of some of the tech names into financials here. So something you all want to be mindful of. All right, let's look at a few other stocks. So here, this is American Tower. This is a cell phone tower company. They were actually doing pretty good off of the December 1st lows. But this week got killed, pretty much gave up about 75% of that gain. So down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday hard. Thursday, Friday kind of trying to stabilize here. Let's see, let's look at Amazon. Actually, Amazon did not have a Santa Claus rally here. You can see peaked November 19th and pretty much been in a downtrend since then. So hit a high of 37.45. Now we're down to 32.51. Let's see. Now here's Boeing. Now Boeing is industrial. So I believe it's in the Dow Jones index. So you can see here that had a nice bounce off of the December lows on December 20th, and they're actually going up. So you can see here where for most of the week on tech-related stocks, you can see they were down for most of the week, whereas here for Boeing, had 2 up days on Monday and Tuesday, 2 sideways days, Wednesday and Thursday, and then up again. But for the week, it's up. And then if you go again back to December 20th, you can see that started an uptrend in Boeing here. So again, think of like stocks that tangible things, goods, if they're good companies, as opposed to some of these other companies that they may do a lot of business, but they're not profitable. So there's rotation out of high PE or high growth stocks that may not have a lot of revenue they have a lot of revenue, but are not a lot of earnings. There's rotation out of those into more solid companies. Let's see. Citigroup. Let's look at Carnival Cruise Lines. Actually, surprise here. Carnival was actually up off of the December 1st lows and started a nice little uptrend here. Surprised about that. I didn't think that they would be doing that well. Carnival's up. Now let's look at a name that's getting killed. So this is Chewy. Chewy is a e-commerce retailer for pet food, supplies, medicines, and they have just been getting killed. And I think they have a pretty high valuation, and those stocks that have high valuations right now, they're just really out of favor, and the stock is getting decimated. So you go back here to the high of November 4th. So Chewy has lost about 39% of its value since November 4th. So it's taking a beating. There's a couple other names. Here's another stock that's getting killed. Fubo is down 59% here. So some of these names are really taking it. Now let's look at a bright spot again. It's Hotel Hilton Group. Well, Hyatt. I think they own the Hilton. You can see here they're actually, got down to the lows. November 26th, kind of went up to December. Through the month of December, from the 8th to like the 20th was sideways to down, and then got a nice pop from December 20th through the 28th, then kind of went sideways, but it's still up. You can see this nice little uptrend here in Hilton. Let's look at the Home Depot. Home Depot has done well, particularly coming off these lows in October. Got to a high of 416, hit it a couple times in December, again in January. But you can see here, it's starting to give up a little bit for the first 5 trading days of the year. But overall, still up. So, but definitely pulled back off of that high of 417. Here's a stock that's been getting killed, Robinhood. It's the online trading, mobile trading application. So they're down to $15.98, and they IPO'd right here at $38 back in, looks like August timeframe, September. Before August, I guess it's July. Yeah, in July, and they've lost a considerable amount of their value there. But you can see here, volume has picked up on this last few trading days. So got buyers coming in here at this $16 level. Let's look at IBM. We had talked about this. IBM hit this low of 118 and dropped even down to 114. But since then, what is this? It's that November 26th. IBM has been on a rally. Now you can see we were down last 3 days this week, but on a good uptrend. So yeah, this is actually pretty impressive. So IBM on 23% run off the lows. Let's look at Intel. Tech stock. Now Intel's been getting beat up for a while from this, going all the way back to June. You see this kind of sideways to down, hit a low in October, kind of went up, came back down again, spiked up. I don't know if this was earnings, but spiked up in December, only to pull back pretty hard. And then now trying to make a little run from the lows of December 20th of 49 back up. Let's look at McDonald's. McDonald's typically does well in kind of environments where there's a rotation in stocks back to safety and quality. McDonald's do pretty well. So you can see here, they've been going sideways to up since October 26th. So McDonald's holding on well. Let's see. Let's look at Nike. Nike had done well off of the lows of September. Got as high as 176 November. And really from November to December, it's really been in this trading range here. Say from pretty much see this box. So it's been kind of locked in this box here since then, and actually can tighten it up a little bit. So kind of locked in this box from high to low. But you see we broke down below it December 20th, and then now we're back at that December 20 low space right here at this 156. So there's rotation out of this, particularly these last few days. I'll do a couple more. Let's see. Oh, this stock has been getting killed. This is Roku. Look at this Roku. It's from a high of, is that 488 down to 180. So Roku has been getting killed. You know, Roku is the streaming device. You hook up to your TVs, watch TV on, kind of for the cord cutters. So yeah, Roku has been getting killed. Trying to find a basis here at this 215, but broke through it this week. So, but definitely not doing well on that one. There's another one that's getting killed. Square. Square is the maker of Cash App and the Square applications. So, you know, I know a lot of people use Cash App. I use it. Digital money transfer application. But they've been getting killed since October. So Square PayPal. PayPal's getting killed. PayPal kind of stabilized though. See, sitting here at this support level. All right. Let's see. Let's look at T-Mobile. Got one more after that. So actually, T-Mobile bottomed out here December 15th. It's actually had a nice run. So T-Mobile's up off of these December 15th lows of 22. So up 20%. So it's a nice run. And let's look at the last one. Let's look at Tesla. All right. So Tesla was actually down from the highs of November. Got down to the low here of what's this? 8 and some change. Yeah. Got a low here of 886. Then bounced back up. Had a good middle of toward the end of December, but you can see these first this week up Monday and then just got killed Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on Tesla. So Tesla's a volatile stock. But if you look here and just draw a box around this trading range, you can see here Tesla's been going anywhere from 1,026 up to 1,200. So it's oscillated a few times and even broke down below this box, but came back up through it, and we're still in it. So, all right. So let me see who all's on. All right. Happy New Year, everybody. Kyle, Irv, Vanessa. All right. So let's go to some of you all stocks to see if y'all been still following. Vanessa, have you still been playing with Foe and all right, here's your
NVIDIA.
water. Say again.
I said, yeah, Foe and NVIDIA.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, Foe, they had a nice little rebound here, but since the beginning of the year, they selling water like we're not going to use it anymore, huh? Okay. Do you still have that one? Have you added any to it recently?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Right. But one thing I have added was, let me see, what was it? I have to look, I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. While you pulling it up, I'll look it up. I'll pull up your NVIDIA. So NVIDIA actually was coming off the highs back in November, hit a low of 273, went back up in December, and then it's kind of been trending down since December 28th. So we actually back at these lows that we hit in mid to late December. So yeah, but even overall, though, NVIDIA is still, up from these lows back in October. So kind of been trading sideways or slightly down since November. Okay. Did you find it?
I mean, it's coming up now. I just I had to go around and get my phone. Okay. I think it's. Come on, machine. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'll pull up UPS while you're still looking on that one. So UPS is it's kind of came off these lows October, and really we're in a little trading range on UPS here. Let's see, from 199 to 217. So they're actually back up to the highs here. So had this pullback, hard pullback from December 22nd down to December 1st. November 22nd down to December 1st. and then had a nice little run off of these lows. So UPS. All right, go ahead, Vanessa. You found it?
Yeah, it's Eli Lilly.
Okay, that's it.
It's LLY.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So, all right, this example. So, Mike, I'm going to talk about support and resistance here real quick. So, on this chart, you can see all we have is just the candlesticks on it, right? So, it's so what we'll do is we'll go support and resistance. The way you look at it is just look at the peaks and the valleys. So this is like a peak here. This is a peak and this is a peak. So with this peak here and this peak, I'll say just for the absolute, I can say absolute top is here. So I'll just hit the Alt H key and so that'd be a resistance point. But you got this one and this one. This is close enough together. I'll draw another line there. Still dealing with the peaks. You got this here. It's a peak. You got another peak right here, right? And then another one down here to the left. Now, you can start looking at the valleys, look at the bottoms. Where's the bottoms, right? So you got a bottom here, got a bottom here, got a bottom here, and bottom here. And all those bottoms are in the general same area. So we'll connect those, right? You got a bottom here, and a bottom here. So I won't draw this one here, but I'll draw this one, and it's close enough. It's not exactly close enough to here, but I'll just put it in here, right? And then I'll move this one up a little bit. So you have some discretion here. So I'll just take that one and slide that one up for this one here. So what this does is gives us kind of support and resistance. So typically wherever the stock is trading at currently, you look at that. So in this case, Eli's trading at 259. And so you can see we got support here at this 238-ish area. And then we got some resistance above at the 271 and more at the 283. So it's just lines to help you see where pivots have occurred in the past and indication to see if it will obey those areas in the future. So that's just quick on support and resistance. I'm sorry, go ahead, Vanessa, on Eli.
Okay, I mean, I just bought it because I was looking at the long-term chart of it. I mean, it's been going up.
Okay.
So that's the only reason why I kind of got in, because I'm gonna try to hold it long-term.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, this is a good point. So let me pull this up. So yeah. So so what I did is just click the W for weekly on the chart. Just took me to a longer view. So it takes me back to 2019. So you can see here, Lilly had definitely had a support area at this 106. Got up here, and actually I can pull that down just a little bit. It hit that. I can go right in here. And you can see that it's definitely been in this uptrend. So if we take this tool here and just kind of draw from here, and I'll take that point where I started it, and I'll take this point here on that red candle. Just draw a line. You can see Lilly has been in an uptrend, kind of broke down below it, but it's still in an uptrend. Is where you just have higher lows and higher highs. And you can just visually see this chart moving up and to the right. And actually the trajectory of the slope has increased as well. So yeah, this is definitely a good chart, Vanessa. So yeah. Let's see. So definitely, so I would say the support areas here are 230. And you got this 224. And then again, it's 211. Support below it, then resistance above it is this 271, and then at 284. Yeah, but definitely a good uptrend here on this chart. Good stuff. Thanks for sharing that. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see. Kyle, are you still in this Beyond Meat?
Beyond Meat is on the way up.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, got a long way to go up, though. We're getting killed. Let's see. So Beyond Meat, yeah, coming off these highs back in February. Let me go to it. Let me go back to a daily on this. Yeah, so definitely finding some support here, but so down from 160 all the way down to 50. Ooh, that's brutal. But definitely found some support here at this 63 level and kind of going sideways. Now you can definitely see these last. So look here, these bars at the bottom here, these are volume bars. So you had a volume bar here that was huge, another big volume bar, but you can see we was kind of lower volume, picked up a little bit of volume here, but look at these last 3 days. A lot of volume has come into this stock, and so that's a good sign, and it's at support level. So you probably got a lot of accumulation, a lot of shares traded hands at this point, and so it should stabilize a bit of this 63 level. Yeah, I'm sorry, it says 63. Yeah, right at the 63 level, and actually we up, 5 points from there.
Beyond Meat trying to partner up with KFC. I think that's probably where all the volume comes from.
Okay. Thanks. Good info. Beyond Meat, what else you got, Kyle? Neo. Let's look at your
Neo ain't doing nothing.
Oh yeah, Neo. Well, I mean, but everything's Neo is a small cap stock. It's getting killed just like everything else. So yeah.
One of my good stocks, Wing stock was doing good. It dropped $7 yesterday. I don't know what the heck happened.
Yeah,
$7.
Yeah, you and Deke both in this Wingstop, but Wingstop is just kind of held its own. Been going sideways here.
They doing thighs now. They doing thighs. They trying to mess with all the parts of the chicken.
Hey man,
that's what I'm looking at. Those thighs with Wingstop, girl. Just trying to hold on to it.
Hey, looking at them thighs. That's a funny commercial. But yeah, but also I can see here is that Wingstop is definitely in this range here, where it was in this tighter range. And you kind of still within it here from 177 down to 160-ish, but you kind of broke out a little bit here yesterday. Had a previous area where it was down below that, and then an extreme back down to 157. But Wingstop has held its own, comparative to a bunch of these other stocks, since October. So it's doing pretty well. Let's see who else we got. Andre, I went over that Fubo. We getting killed in that. Let me see. Let me ask them to.
Yeah, we just got to hang low till we come back on top.
Yeah, I've been. Well, let's go to that. I've been on Fubo. What I've been doing is selling calls against it to try to mitigate this pullback. So, but this thing is it just took it out to the woodshed. But selling weekly calls, and so we have an option on those right now. And I think they're in at 17 on the calls. I think we collected like 30-something cent on it. And they expire this coming Friday. And so what we do is just put another one in, once they expire. Still just trying to fight our way back, just earning that premium on those. So we just keep going with it. Do you want to buy any more down here?
I'll throw some in, man. We probably just buy some more. I mean, since it's that low anyway.
Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got. Thanks, Dre. Let's see. Deke, we talked about your wings. What else are you looking at, Deke, on other than Wingstop?
Lowe's and Home Depot.
Okay. Yeah, they've held up. I looked at the Lowe's, the Home Depot a little bit earlier, but they've come off this huge run from October, and they've just been kind of trending sideways here the last month or so. So you can see we kind of actually take this and really good in this trading range, this box here. So with this 245 on the low side, and I'll pull this down just a bit and say about 260 on the upside. So you're right here in the middle. But they've held their own. Yeah, Lowe's is good. Let's look back at that Home Depot. Pretty much look like the same chart, right? So but they both are coming off a nice run since October, and they're just in this trading range. So yeah, definitely two good ones. You know what? Let me look at Visa. Visa got killed, but Visa had a nice bounce off of these December lows, and they've started an uptrend here. So
yeah, I've been watching that along with my company stock too. Has been bouncing back as well.
yeah, that's TSYS.
Global Payments, GPN.
Oh, yeah, Global Payments, right.
GPN.
GPN, thank you. I can never remember that ticker. Oh yeah. So it's this is good because a bunch of these stocks were trending together, and so it looks like the payment stocks have separated from the the transaction stocks have separated from the some of the payments. So if you look at the PayPal, I was talking about PayPal and Square. You can see these are just going down and sideways, whereas Square they just killing Square. I don't know why they killing it so much. They act like Square is not gonna send no more money and process no more transactions. But it looks like transaction processors definitely are doing better. Another one is, let's look at MasterCard. Oh yeah, MasterCard bounced hard off of these December lows. 306. Yeah, so this is, if anybody caught this MasterCard, should be doing pretty good here, up 20% in a month and a half. Yeah, it's nice on MasterCard. All right, let's see what else. Who else? Let's see, Deacon Irv, Reverend Irv, you got any stocks you've been playing with, looking at?
Hey, Mike. Happy New Year to you.
Hey, Happy New Year.
No, I'm on the stock I have is some legacy stock that I just been having for 100 years, but I haven't been doing any trading. Mostly, I guess like I sent you that little.
The options.
Yeah,
Yes.
options. Yeah, options is if I do anything, it's gonna be an option. So.
Okay. Do you have any plays on right now in options?
Not really. No.
Okay. Yeah. Now, were you doing the cover calls on those? Or when you
I was
playing?
doing cover calls and some of them were just momentum trading, day trading.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Let's see. What else we got? So when I was talking a little bit earlier with Andre, so we're doing some cover calls, and this FUBO here has been going down, and so we're just using cover calls to try to get some of that premium to absorb, some of these losses. So we've been trading cover calls in this name.
That's always a good move. That's always a good move when you're in a downward trend.
Yeah.
You still want to hold on to.
Right. So we're trying to fight back a little bit in that. Let's see. Thank you, sir. Mike, I know this is your first time, so is there any stock or that you follow, any names that are of interest of you? Or of interest to you, should I say? Mike Purder.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry, I didn't take you off of me and stuff.
Oh, no, you good.
Yeah, I was just kind of paying attention to some of the stocks that people was buying, like Wingstop and stuff like that. I think you say Wingstop lost $7 in one day.
Yeah. Kyle was just saying that it went down $7. So that was yesterday. So yeah, so you can see here was a it hit a high of 172 yesterday, but it closed at 163. So you're down $7.40 just yesterday. Yeah. But it's just been trading in this range, from 177 to 160, and actually got down below it. So it's just, I wouldn't really get too concerned about it unless it approaches this 157 area, because this is where it's had some decent support, 3 different times on the chart. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's something I might should, but buy wise low.
Okay. Yeah. So they and that's one thing, some of these restaurants, food related places, they're doing pretty well. Let's look at Chipotle. Chipotle Mexican Grill. They've been killing Chipotle here recently, but they've been on a good run. But you can see here that they're in this kind of broke out of this trading range a little bit. I don't know if we get the right tool. I can extend this. Yeah. So you can see they kind of broke out this box to the downside. So kind of hit this low of, so really this 1561. That's an area you want to pay attention to see if Chipotle, if this is something anybody's interested in. Would be like, let's see another name that's let's look at Wendy's. Wendy's usually was stuck in that $20 to $20 range. Okay, they actually broke out. So Wendy's on a nice little run from this $20.37 up to 24. So it's about a 20% run there on Wendy's off of the lows. But if I go out, yeah, so 19%. If I go out to a larger chart, you can see here Wendy's has really been stuck in this range here. So if I draw this range back, you can see, I'll draw from here. It's really from this 2077 to this 24. We've hit that range several times in this process. So, but ironically, let me pull this back a little bit, so I want to show you. When we were talking about the earlier of the year, how a bunch of these stocks are, they were down for the beginning of the year, but Wendy's are actually up every day this week. So it's showing some strong performance here. I don't know what it is about that, but versus some of the other indexes that we looked at earlier, they had some down days, particularly yesterday and Thursday. Wendy's bucking the trend. So when you see something like this that's operating against the market, something to pay attention to. And volume is not necessarily higher here. Volume is not necessarily higher, but it's holding its own. It'd be interesting to see what happens here at this, how much more room is going to have between this 2407 and this 2456. If it can break above here, then might be off to the races a little bit. But I don't know if it's gonna break that, because scale out. This would be like the third time it got up close to this 2458 and couldn't hold it. So would not be surprised to see this retreat. But if it doesn't, then maybe establishing a new area. Thanks for that. Let's see. Let's see. I go through everybody. I'm gonna ask the iPhone to unmute so I can put your name with this, because it's just showing iPhone. I'm not sure who this is. So if you just gotta, who's
Hello?
that? Yes, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. I'm Laji Wright, and I was invited by Andre.
Okay. How you spell that, Laji? How you spell that first name?
Laji.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm invested in a few stocks myself.
Okay. Give me a couple of your names.
Brook Brothers, BIO.
Okay.
Ethereum.
Let's see. Brook Brothers.
BIO is a symbol.
Am I missing it?
They're new too.
Maybe that's why. Okay.
from Portland.
Is this the
It
Dutch?
says coffee.
Is it Dutch
BRO
Bros?
symbol.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe they're not. I don't see it. BR. Oh, you know what? Let me do it like this.
Okay, if it's there.
Brook Brothers Limit BTB. That's Bit. That's Brooks Lab. Brook Industries. Yeah, I don't see it.
They came on the market in 2021. It's relatively new.
Okay, did I spell it right? Brook Brothers.
I got it on my cell phone. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
BRO is a symbol.
Okay.
Try BROS, but I think it's BRO.
Now I see a Dutch Bros BROS.
Okay, look up that one. Look that one up.
Is this $46? Yeah, just came public back in September.
Right, that's it.
Okay, all
That's
right.
it.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry.
Oh no, no, you're good.
BROS.
Yeah. So yeah, Dutch Brothers. So let's just draw a quick
Dutch
chart.
Brothers.
Yeah, let's look at. All right, so on here, again, I'm just go through a little support and resistance. So you look at your peaks. So I'll say here. Now you have some discretion. You can put it at the absolute high, or you can just put it at the top of the base of that candle. So that's a peak. Then you look at the valley. So this is like a valley. It's a valley. So I can put one sideways here. And then you got these 3 points here. So you got this one, and this one. I'll split the difference in them and take it here. Then you got the highs right here. It's close enough to there. And it kind of corresponds to this portion over here. So I'll just take it right here. Okay. So what you have here is, so you got support right here at this 41. Broke out above it, came back down and touched in October. Then you've been on a nice run from October 8th all the way up to November 1st and hit 77. But then you had a pretty big, so you had a good run up, and then now you got this pull back to the downside, and so you can see that you come into some strong support right here at this 45 area. And so now it's just really been in this trading range from, say, about in this box here. So actually I can extend that a little bit to the left. So Dutch Brothers, really got some decent support here at this 46 area. Let me see specifically what it is that they do.
It's coffee.
Coffee, okay. And let's see. So anytime if you're on here, if you want to look at particulars, you can go here and then pull down the specifics, go to profile. Emerging growth company engages in the management of coffee shops and restaurants, operates through company-owned shops as well as franchising. Okay. And you said they came out of Portland?
Well, I know they have a lot of stores in Portland.
Okay, yeah.
That's where I first had it.
Okay.
And I knew coffee was so good and everybody loved it. So when they came on the market, I said I'd try.
Yes,
and I bought mine at 44, I think.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you. You got another name?
Ethereum. I'm doing Ethereum.
Okay, so let me add this to the watch list. All right, Ethereum's a crypto.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay.
Let's go to Ethereum. Yeah, Ether has pulled back pretty hard here, particularly for the crypto people. Yeah, for whatever reason, crypto has been trending kind of with the stock market. So, so you can see here we had this downtrend to sideways, and then first 5 days of the year, trading days, you can see it's really been down. So yeah,
I bought mine at 27 something, so I'm still up. As long as I'm on the up, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
and
thing-
they will come back up.
Yeah, one thing to look at too, if you go out here to Trading View and you create an account, you can type total. So when you click on it and you start typing, it's gonna come up stocks all. But if you go to crypto, all right, and I don't know why I did that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go to index. So total. So it's crypto total market cap. You're gonna click on that one and look at it. What this shows is the total amount of money in the crypto space in general. And you can see here we're at like 2.9 trillion, but it's now pulled back to about 195. And that corresponds to kind of some of the lows that we reached back in October. So really want to see that it holds this 1.8 area. So got about another 1.1 billion to go. But if it breaks below there, it could be a bad sign.
Time to get out.
Yeah. Well, at least, just know that they're just pulling a bunch of money out of crypto. And when they do, it's going to possibly affect a lot of different cryptos.
And I heard that there was going to be some pulling back. Because I did have Bitcoin too, and I sold it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, one of the things, look at your chart, because actually Bitcoin is, so if you say here, it actually has some good support. Wrong tool. So if you say here, so if you look at this support level, so really at this where we are right now, Bitcoin is at a quadruple bottom. And so you've had volume come in right here, got decent volume at this area, got good volume definitely at this area on this pullback, and we got decent volume again here. So this 41 area is decent. Now, it can go lower. I'm not saying that it can't, but just from a probability perspective, this has been an area where it has bounced at before. Now,
So that's the support.
yeah, support level. Yes, ma'am. All right. Now, one of the things is that what we've been noticing recently is that crypto has kind of been following stocks to the downside. So if the stock market continues to get, killed, it may take crypto along with it. And if so, I would look between this total market cap piece, pay attention to this in terms of seeing how much money they pull out of the market in general, and then you can look back at the particular ones for to see if they're going to continue to pull back in crypto as well. So that's because it's the Bitcoin chart, it's just a different one, but they may continue to pull back in these names. So definitely keep an eye on those. So even on the Ethereum, let me use this one. Yeah. So just keep an eye. Definitely 29.34 on this Ethereum. It's an area to look out for because it's kind of like a support area as well. So yes, ma'am. Thank you for joining. I appreciate that.
Okay, look at one more for me. I just bought some of that not too long ago. AT&T.
Yeah, that's actually should be in at a good price.
Yeah, I got in kind of low.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. AT&T is bounced off of these 22. Yeah, so it's on a nice run since what's this, December? Yeah. And so definitely in this uptrend. One of the things about AT&T.
23, I think I got it in. Got in at 23.
Yes, ma'am. No, that's definitely good entry price. Particularly, you can see here before when it was kind of in a downtrend. So if I just extend this trend line to the right. So what happens is this is a downtrend. So when this downtrend keeps going, and then when the stock finally gets up into the right of the downtrend, it's like the downtrend has been broken, and then an uptrend can establish. So definitely on this long green bar here, December 16th is when it kind of stopped going down and broke to the upside. So definitely an uptrend. And if it continues to bay this uptrend to the right, yeah, definitely hold it. And one of the things too about AT&T is they pay a dividend. And so
Yeah, I
dividend
did
is
dividend.
52 cents. So they just paid one. Was that yesterday? Day before yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Got a 52 cents. So in your portfolio, make sure you turn on dividend reinvestments, because what they'll do is for every share you own, they'll pay you 52 cents. And if you have your dividends reinvested, what they'll do is just go buy you more stock with that, as opposed to putting the cash into your account.
That's what I do.
Okay. Very
That's what
good.
I do, reinvestment.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
I
ma'am.
think I got about 1,000 shares.
All right. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's see who else we got. If anybody's join. Let's see. I think I went through everybody. All right. So now we just open it up for just general questions. Any questions, comments, crypto and or stocks, or even portfolio related questions?
Well, since we're on the crypto subject right now, okay, I'm new to the crypto thing, so I just basically just been throwing money over there, just buying a little bit here and there. And I went out and I totaled up how much I put out based on how much is worth, and it's kind of like, okay, it feels like I'm putting money in a bucket, in a hole. So I'm like, I mean, I know it's a good thing because at some point in time it's gonna bounce back or whatever, but it seemed like that's, I mean, what do you see is where crypto is going? Do you think it's going to bounce back up to, I know Bitcoin is like crazy expensive, but do you think it's ever going to get back up to that high point where it is? Because it seems like most of the cryptos are like that.
Yeah, one of the things is that with some of the cryptos, it's really been trending kind of like the way stocks are. So you just ignore the numbers and just look at the chart. So this is that's a Bitcoin chart. So we hit a high back in November, but watch this. So if I take that and I do the NASDAQ, right? So this high was also November 22nd, right? So if you just ignore the instrument and just look at what the chart is, that's a high and we done pulled back. So if you say here, all right, so it's a pullback of about, that's an 8% pullback, right? Whereas in Bitcoin, so the pullback has been much greater. However, it looks like from this high, the way I've been tracking this is, for whatever reason, the stock market and crypto markets are correlated with each other, with the stock markets leading. So once the stocks kind of turned around in November and went down, particularly, so like if you look at the, let me do the Russell as a, so it's a Russell index, right? So if you see here, we hit this high November 8th, and it's just been in a downtrend. And so it's tracking closer to the Russell, which is a small cap, but still it seems like, and think of it like this, people have a, personal amount of wealth that they manage, right? And so if you're losing money in the stock market, then, you may be selling some stocks. But if you have some extra money over on the crypto side, you may be selling some of your crypto to fund your stock purchases, or you may be getting out on both sides. So I think that they're just correlated right now. And so the overall question you asked was, do I see crypto coming back? I think, yeah, but just like with the stocks, you got to use your support and resistance and kind of see where things are trending. So if we go back to the Bitcoin here, this is when I got marked up. So you can see here, like I talked about before, at this 40,000 level, Bitcoin has shown that you can get a bounce here. But can you go lower? Yeah, and we have an example of this in this recent low. Let me take this off. It's Fibonacci. Okay, so you got this recent low here. So if I just draw these in terms of this box is where it was trading at. So you can see that box right there. See this box here. So these boxes just show when they break out of different areas. So now we're back in this middle range, right? So what happens is that And actually, if I extend this one down, so we're just really in these trading ranges, and this is just the current range that we're in. But you can see we did go higher before, but we're in this downtrend. And again, it looks like it's being precipitated by the stock market. So if stocks keep going down and it keeps trending the way that it has, I would expect crypto to go down too. And then earlier when I was talking to Laja, when she asked about crypto, and we were just talking about this whole total market cap, if stocks keep going down and you see this total market cap of crypto, because what market cap means is just basically is how much money is in this particular ecosystem. So it's like 1.9 billion, right? Whereas back in November, we were at 2.9. So they put out almost about $1 billion, almost $1 billion out of the crypto market in the last, 2 months or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. If this trend continues, then we can go much lower. So, and all that means is that, are people selling their money and they're parking it in cash, right? Mm-hmm. So they're taking it out of crypto and they're just going back to cash or maybe getting out completely. But we have an area here. So if I draw, so you can see here, we had a little bit of support area right in here. We touched it right here again. We got a bunch of sideways action right here. So this 1.8 is definitely an area. So I'll just draw a little. So if we get back down into here and break below, then we don't have that much support on the chart back until we get to like 1.4. So if you say 1.8 to a 1.4 drop from where we are, so we're right here. So if we get back to here, you're talking about a 24% pullback. If that amount of money comes out of crypto is going lower as a whole. So it really doesn't matter what you hold in crypto, it's going to go lower. Now, you may have a few exceptions, but by and large, it's just there's more money being taken off the table. But again, the thing that I'm seeing is that it's really correlated to what's happening in the stock market. So let's just use the S&P as a barometer for the entire market, right? Well, and I won't use that. I'll use a Russell. And the reason I use a Russell is because it seems to be more in line related to crypto. So if I do this and then go to a weekly, all right. So you can see we're in this box sideways here on the Russell. Let me extend this. Okay. So if we break down through, and so you can even look at the RUT or the RYT. RUT or the RTY. So this is the index and this is the futures, right? But they're both tracking the same thing. So just use the RUT. On the RUT, so we're at 2187. If we break below probably this 2133, look at, so I'm gonna go out to I'm on a weekly. Let me just expand this out a little bit. Look, if we get down below here, we don't have anything really left on the chart from a support level until we get down to this 1644. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? So this is a huge drop. So holding this 2134 is going to be huge. And again, if crypto follows suit, then whatever percentage, so let's just say let's so if we got down, so like right here, I'm talking about a 24% pullback. If we have a 24% pullback there, just go back to Bitcoin. So if we say BTC USD, so if we got a 24% pullback from where we are, let's see what we're looking at. We're talking let's say 24%. Yeah, you're talking a $30,000 Bitcoin again. Now, is that out of the question? No, because if we look back at this chart here, you can see that we hit this level a couple times before. So the question really is, if you're just trading it, pay attention to this 41. And if it breaks below this 41 and some change on Bitcoin, just wait and let it settle out. And one thing too, so if you take your trend line here, right? All right, so we can take this. So we're in this trend line here, and let me take it to a daily. All right. Let me clear this out to make it a little bit, so you can see a little bit better. All right. Kill that trend line. Let's move this one back. Okay. So trend line that I'm referring to is this one here. All right. What you want to do is, and I can just extend this trend line to the right. I'm gonna keep the slope the same until we get a close up and to the right. If you're not in it, then just wait till you get a close and it breaks above this trend line. That way you know that you have confirmation that this downtrend has been broken and a new uptrend is trying to start. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is say, hey, if you want to be a little more aggressive, you can say, hey, we're right here at the support. I think the support is going to hold. You can buy a little bit here, observing this level and just trying to make sure that it holds above this, say 40,000, 557, right? Say hold in this general area. So that's another thing you can look at. Or if you want to be even a bit more conservative, you can say, I'm not going to buy it until it get down to this 37. And so what you're doing is using these support levels to make judgments about if it touches here, then I have something on the chart to say I got a bounce at that point. If it gets below that, I have something on the chart that says, okay, there was some support down here. Now, these are not hard and fast rules that it means that the chart is going to obey it. These are just indicators to show you what have people done with their money at this price point on the chart before. And if they do what they've done previously, we should get a bounce here. But if they don't, then this is the next support area. If they don't at that point, this is the next support area. So it just allows you to plan. Now, just looking at that, what you can do is say if you had $1,000 and you say, you know what, if I'm starting a position, say I buy a third right here at the 41.90, what's that, 41.900, put another order in to buy at the 37.70, and then put a third order in to buy at the, 30,600. And that way you can scale in if it hits those points to the downside. Because that's just another strategy, but you got to be watching it to kind of see and know what your overall thing. So the charts here are just to give us indicators in terms of if it gets to a certain price on the chart. If I look back and see what the history is, what is the chart showing me, and do I have some pivot points there that the instrument actually reversed at this point? So we can see that it reversed here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. From the support here, it bounced, got up to this resistance area right here and right here. It retreated back, but then it finally broke out of that box. Then we're in a new box, right? So once a point goes above resistance, then it becomes support when it's higher. So here, where this was resistance at this 41 level, 41.8, now becomes support. And so now we got up to this 54 something. Then it came back, and now this resistance area, which was support here on the left, it was resistance here on the left, now becomes support on the right because it's trading higher than it. So always look at kind of where your stock is. So technically, this is below resistance because the green is below the blue bar, right? So the resistance would be the blue bar and support would be here. Whereas when I was on this red bar, the support would be this blue bar here at the 42 and resistance here would be the 58. Okay, so just all relative to where the current price is in terms of if you're talking support, resistance, or if you're looking back in the chart, wherever bar you're looking at, the support and resistance is relative to whatever the focal point that you're using. All right, so I know it's probably a lot of words there, but you got to try to devise a strategy. So you were saying, Vanessa, I'm just throwing money over there and it looks like I'm putting it in a bucket. So overall, now it's just my personal opinion. Overall, I think crypto is going to be here to stay. But again, since the stock market seems to be driving the performance, particularly the Russell seems to be driving the performance of crypto in general, we're just in a downtrend in the Russell. So if this continues, we're probably going to go down in crypto. And so you can use that in conjunction with this total market cap on crypto and just see how much money they're pulling out of the crypto space. So to me, those two things can kind of help you. But I believe in a long-term thesis for crypto in general.
Okay, so the fact that it is kind of like I ain't gonna say at a low, but it's on a downtrend at this point. Now is a good time to continue to buy while it is low. So when it does bounce back, at least you'll have more.
Yeah, great question. Because, and so if you're going to take a long-term view, and this is for any instrument, stocks, crypto, what have you, if you're going to take a long-term view, just dollar cost average in. And all dollar cost average means is that you're going to set up a monthly or weekly buy, and you're just going to buy the same amount at the same interval, whatever it is. So say you set it up on a monthly basis. So you're going to put in $50 a month, and you have a long-term view. So let's say you do this for the next couple years. Every month, you're going to get the price on where it's traded, but overall, it's going to average out. So if you have 12 purchases for the year of 2020, you add all of those together, the aggregate total, and then you divide by 12. That's going to be the average price that you pay for it. So in that case, so just say for instance here, so let's just take that example. So let's say we go to September 1st. All right. So you were buying on the first of each month. So here you would have bought in this, let me go to the Bitcoin chart. Sorry. All right. September 1st. Okay. So you'd have bought right here in this 49,000 area, right? So that's September 1st. Go to October 1st. You would have bought right here. It's a pretty big bar, but anywhere from somewhere here, whenever the trade executed that day, let's just say 46. Go to November 1st. You would have bought at 60, right? So you gotta, so it's at, let's say 46. What was it, September 1st? So there was a 47. So 47, 46, and 60, right? You add those three together, 46 and 47, just say 47. 47 and 60, about 13. So half of that, you're talking, so you probably got around like a $52,000 or $53,000 average price, because you bought lower on the first two and bought higher on the third one. Then if you go to December, let's see, December 1st, you would have bought at this 57, right? So you'd have been right about at a 57-ish, 52, 57. So say average it like 53. And I'm just doing the math in my head, so maybe quite off a little bit. But then you go to you go to January. So now you're at 49. So you take an average of say a 52 and a 49. So you got probably around like a 51-ish, 52-ish average price. And then here you didn't have to, and so you're going to get the best overall price because you're buying monthly or you're buying weekly with the same amount of money. That's the way that I would do it if you're going to establish a long-term presence and you don't want to be trying to pick the tops and the bottoms. So now, and you can do it both ways. Say you do that with $50 a month, and you say, hey, I got a couple $1,000 and I'm gonna just trade the chart. So if you go back to the chart here, where I have it, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you go back to the chart here and you got your support and resistance, so you say, hey, I'm gonna buy some here, I'm gonna buy some here, and I'm gonna buy some here. So you can do that with the other half. Whereas the other piece that you're doing, you just dollar cost average in. So so you don't have to have one strategy. You can have a couple of different strategies. Now you have to manage it, but if you set the dollar cost average up with one of the exchanges, they'll do it for you. So you don't have to remember to do it every month. But then you can set your other price points. So, but again, if your thesis is a long-term hold, I would definitely dollar cost average in. And then if you wanted to try to pick points out based on the chart, with your know-how of the chart, then you got some areas that you can get interested in at several different price points. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Any others?
Can you look at Baba, BABA?
Yes, ma'am. Let's see, Baba.
Like Amazon, but it's the Chinese.
Yeah. So Baba has been getting killed. Now, one thing I'll tell you.
Would you buy it?
Probably not. And I'm gonna tell you why. Now, and I could be wrong. But this is just my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. One of the things about these Chinese stocks is that the Chinese government can come in and make any ridiculous request. And these companies don't have any recourse because what they say in China from a government perspective goes. So that's the one caveat that I don't like. And then secondly is some of the accounting practices, right? Sometimes there are things that come out in some of these foreign companies, particularly certain companies in China. They've had some issues around their accounting irregularities. And if they're cooking the books, basically doing fraudulent activity with the accounting, then you're basing certain numbers and stuff on revenues and earnings, but they may not be actual. So so that's the downside. Now, I won't tell anybody if you're convicted of it and you think that it's something that you want to buy. What I just mentioned around the dollar cost averaging thing there, dollar cost averaging to it. Now, you could say, okay, Mike, you told me to dollar cost average into this thing if I was interested. And I'm just using that as a suggestion. But if this, hindsight is always 20/20, right? So let's look at this. So number one, just being very objective, we're in a downtrend, right? So you just look at this and let's not have any emotion around. Let's just see what the chart is showing. Chart is showing me in a downtrend, right? We're going all the way back to April of 17 before we find some support at this particular area where we're trading at now, right? So April 17 and say June 17, but 2017, right? So it's, 22 is 5 years ago. It's a long time. And you have to ask yourself a couple things. Are you just buying this because it's cheap? Are you buying it because you think the business is doing better? Or what are some of the other reasons why you're buying? And you don't have to answer out loud, but these are just things you want to think about, right? And as a result of that, you also have to ask yourself that question in the context of other opportunities out there. Is buying Baba at this 129, is that a better play than, say, buying another company at this juncture that chart may not look like it's pulled back so much? So if you're buying this for a value play and you're saying, okay, I'm looking to buy this because it's cheap, is bouncing, I'm at a 5-year low, and that's why I'm looking to get into it, then if that's your thesis, then that's your thesis. But the way to mitigate some of that risk, I would say, is if you're going to buy at this point, don't buy all of your allocation at one time. So let's say you got $1,000, right? And I just use that because it's an easy number. Get $1,000 and say, I want to buy some Baba. I would may break this up into, either a couple ways. I'll take the $1,000. I'll put it on, say, $100 a month on a dollar cost averaging, buy $100 every month, dollar cost average into it. Or I would say take the $1,000, divide it in 4 different buckets, buy some now at the 130, and then maybe wait a month, buy another 25%, wait another month, buy another 25%. because you want to pick your price points and kind of see what the stock is doing. Or you can buy it all now and say, hey, I'm comfortable with the risk of whatever I want. I think this is a good entry point, and if it goes down further, I'm not going to be upset about it. So your temperament around what your risk tolerance is. Do you like to make just one decision? Are you comfortable with making many decisions? And then factoring the risk in that it's a Chinese company, the government can come in. Do they have any history of accounting irregularities? Things of that nature. In addition to just whatever their business model. I mean, I know they're like you say, they're the Amazon of China, and so they, e-commerce, they sell a lot of goods. So that would be my advice. But if you have to think about one thing. Regardless of what I tell you or anybody else tells you, even hear from so-called professionals on TV or whatever, at the end of the day, you have to figure out what your conviction is. And if you feel in your gut that, you need to make this call and you buy it in the ways that you feel you should, you just own your decision. And what I mean by that is if it goes against you, then you say, okay, I made this decision. I live up, I'm willing to accept the responsibilities of making that decision if it goes up or down. And, sometimes we make those decisions and it works in our favor. And other times we make decisions and it goes against us. But again, just own the decision to say, okay, I took all the information that I had and I made the decision, not necessarily a recommendation for someone else.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Anybody else? Any other? Let's see. I would say definitely pay attention to these, and I got to do so myself. Pay attention to these banks. They look like and it's actually the thesis on the banks. Interest rates are going to increase. Inflation is rising. The Feds will stop buying bonds. Banks and financials should rise as a result. So Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Citigroup. I can add to this JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and the like. So just pay attention to some of these financial related stocks. And I'll close with this. I think it's the XLE. No, XLF. Yeah. If you want a ETF that you can trade as a proxy for the banks, one is the banks in the financial sector in general, is the XLE. And then I think there's a banking index as well. I think it's the XLB. Where is it? Let me find it. B. Yeah, it's the BKX. Yeah, BKX index. So you can trade this BKX for the bank specifically, or you can trade the XLF for a broader piece to include banks and other financial companies if you believe in this overall thesis. Now, just the way things are trending, there's a rotation out of a bunch of this tech stuff into the financials, and you can see here that they're going up. So you look at it, any individual bank, you kind of see it as well, right? So lows December 20th. Let's look and see if this December 22nd. So I'm just looking at that was Wells Fargo, Citigroup. Here's December 20th. So all these look like they had a bottom on this December 20th, and they've run since then. So, and I just ran through about 3 or 4 different banks or financials right there, right? So I'm gonna need to buy some of this myself just as a hedge against, what else is going on in terms of these financial instruments. And if you hear, if you watch the news, if you hear the Feds talk about that they raised interest rates, that works in line with these, because banks and financials, typically they make money on when interest rates environments are increasing because they make money between the spreads. So they're interest rate sensitive. And so they make more money when the interest rates are higher versus when they're lower. So keep an eye on them. Got something in the chat here. Let's see. Okay, Deke had to drop. All right. Well, good. Well, thanks everybody for joining. Appreciate it. Happy New Year to everybody.